What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are once again going to be talking about Justified City Primeval. Now, again, after last week's rant, which I do believe I had a right to speak how I felt about it, but at the same time, this episode had some bad, but at the very end, definitely had a lot going for it, and still will, depending on what they do more with the character of Raylan Givens. Now, with the way the story continued with the last episode of City Primeval. Now, again, to my knowledge, this was a limited series, and at the same time, there was more talk about possible more Justified with Timothy Olyphant, who plays Raylan. Now, again, I want to see more Raylan, but I want to see more of the Raylan we know, not what we did see in City Primeval. Because again, we got to see glimpses of the Raylan we knew and we loved, but at the same time, we didn't get to see enough of it, in my personal opinion. Now, the way this episode continued was we see the Albanians bringing Raylan and Clement into the little safe area that he hurt the other Albanian in. Carolyn's there waiting for them, and then as soon as that happens, he's like looking around and they lock him in there. And as soon as Raylan punches the button, he says, "Well, you know my lawyer's there, right, dumbass?" And again, Clement can be a very annoying character, but he does have some smart-ass lines that do find to be a little bit funny, and they leave him in there. Now, the entire time about this, Raylan, again, we all know how Raylan is. He wants to do the right thing, but there is times he will get his hands dirty. Now, over the time of the episode, he does finally come to the decision later on that he wants to try to go get him, but unfortunately, he does break out. But not before then of also figuring out how he got brought out due to the idiot nephew of the Albanians wanted to go kill himself, and that's how, of course, Clement got out, and he was able to kill him, steal the gun, and then go after the Albanians as well. Now, this was kind of stupid, in my opinion, how he was able to take down all the Albanians so easily when they, appear to be such big tough asses. So it kind of made me go, what exactly was that? Because he just came in there with a regular gun. He didn't come in there with a shotgun. He didn't come on in there with a semi-automatic or something to go, oh, well, hey, here I am. He just takes whatever money and then leaves. And, of course, Raylan is still banging Carolyn at this point, and she's complaining about how her ex-husband, did the house, and she doesn't want it like this, and she's telling Raylan about it. And then before then, we also got to see how Raylan was actually going after the ones that were trying to, be dirty cops, the other chick that he became friends with. And she basically said, okay, so you think my name being on that black book's going to mean anything of a dead judge? She says, go ahead, basically do what you can and then go from there. Now, I will say this as well. When Raylan finally does find out that Clement finally does get out, he goes after him and he warns Carolyn, and he meets Clement in Carolyn's house, and he does gun him down when they kind of have one of their last talks, and he pulls out what seems to be a gun, but he doesn't. He pulls out a tape stating that I guess he wanted him to listen to it because I guess his father was a big shot and he wanted to be one as well, but unfortunately now he will never be. Now, goes about 6 weeks later, and we see one of the ones having a party down in Miami. Raylan's a part of it, and the one that was his boss is going to retire, and he actually is wanting to back up Raylan to be the possible new chief of the Marshal Service in Miami. And that was kind of a shocker. Raylan's kind of looking at him like, that's not what I was asking for. He says, well, then what are you asking? He tells him, I quit. And that was kind of shocking, but at the same time, we kind of figured that was going to happen sooner or later due to the fact of the way Raylan's been. And he just goes to his house in Miami, painting it, doing whatever. And he gets a bottle of booze that was a gift from Carolyn. Carolyn got the judge seat, and making up a letter basically saying, oh, if I can't handle the cold, because it looks like she's selling her house and she's going to want to possibly visit Raylan down in Miami. Now, we get to see a very familiar face, which finally I was able to glad we finally got to see one familiar face, which was, of course, Winona. We got to see Winona return with, of course, Willow being able to come, and she's got her driver's permit, and she sees her dad painting, and they had no idea that he quit. He says he didn't really figure he had to tell them, or he had to give permission to tell them, or even to do it on his own. So he finally tells them, and Winona basically tells him, she says, you couldn't do it for me, but you could do it for her. She says, don't mess it up. And she leaves, and you could still see, and this is just how good chemistry that you could see, between the acting of course, Winona and, Raylan, aka Timothy Olyphant. Now, it's really good to see how Winona will always have a soft spot for Raylan. She will always have a soft spot for Raylan because not only is that the father of her child, but also, the love that, was always there for her. And maybe we could all, maybe it could be more explored. You never know. And that leaves, and then later on, he wants to take Willa on a boat ride, saying that she wanted to have a boat. And he takes her on, and we got to see them having father-daughter time. Now, here is the big, big send-off to this series, guys. Are you guys ready? Boyd Crowder. Yes, what you're seeing, Boyd Crowder is back. We get to see Boyd in Kentucky prison after all this time. And he is once again claiming the word of God as a priest. And he does his normal. And what he does is, of course, he is talking about how he was when we all know how Boyd is, doing how he did in Justified, and talking about, the word of God and how his health is supposedly declining. They're going to transfer him to a hospital. When they do, he looks like he's made amends with a lot of people, supposedly. Goes in the back of the transport truck. As soon as we see this, all we see is Boyd making a racket in the back of the police transport. The two cops get out, say, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, I thought you weren't going to make a ruckus." He says, "Well, I think you got that backwards." The female cop, or apparently pretending to be a cop, is actually with Boyd. She breaks him out. And apparently, they're headed to Mexico. And then Raylan gets a message on his phone about this. And this is how it ends. Now, let me tell you guys something. I lost my mind when I saw Boyd. Boyd was literally one of my favorite characters in Justified, in the series, and literally television of all time. Because again, Walton Goggins does such a great job portraying this character of just being very smooth, being very charismatic, being a big smartass, being able just to portray this character in such a great way. And at the same time, I never thought we were actually going to see Boyd possibly go down to Mexico, because again, we get to see different comments throughout the series about him making comments about Mexico. And, we got to see that fight where Raylan made a crack about going to Mexico. So it makes me wonder, with this send-off that we had for Justified City Primeval, will we see Raylan come out of retirement real quick, when he barely was in retirement to begin with, and then go down to either Mexico or someplace else to go get Boyd? Now, in all honesty, I want to know more about how Boyd got out. I want to know who this woman is. I was thinking it was his son. I was thinking it was somebody else. Does he know he has a son with Ava? Are we going to see Ava at some point? Will we see more Winona? Hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll see Ava. Hopefully we'll see more Boyd. I want more Justified. I want the Justified that was given to us many years ago. Not this version of Justified. I don't want to see Carolyn anymore. I don't want to see all these other bullshit characters. I want to see the characters that we know and love. That, you guys know how I feel about that. But guys, this was crazy. Now, overall, the series was interesting. It was interesting. I was happy to see Raylan come back. I was happy to see some of these characters come back. The best part was honestly the end of the season and some other parts in the series. But overall, the series did not have the same tone as the previous one. It did not feel like the same one. It was nowhere near as good as the same one. And I enjoyed it, again, to a certain degree. So 1 out of 10, I think I'm going to give it about a 5.5. I think it could have been a lot better. Some of it was kind of cringe. I did not really care about the relationship with Carolyn and Raylan. That was forced, in my opinion. Same thing with Clement, them trying to make him the big badass when he wasn't. Also with Sweetie, I didn't care about him. Sandy, I didn't care about. All these other characters, I didn't care about. I just wanted to see more exactly what Raylan was going to be doing, and again, we didn't really get that. So overall, guys, what was your thoughts of Justified City Primeval? Did you guys enjoy it? If you did, great. If not, please let me know the reasons why. Are you glad that we finally got to see Boyd again? Are we glad we got to see Winona again? Are we? What do you guys want to see further out of the Justified franchise? I want more Justified. I want another different kind of season of Justified. I want Justified, something. I want something, for that. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you as always on the next one.